Optimus, take my parts. Fulfill your destiny.
Welcome back, Autobots, Decepticons, and everything in between to another episode of Fixing Transformers. And in today's episode, we're going to take a look at what happened to Jetfire's parts after Revenge of the Fallen. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So as a quick recap, Jetfire was one of the many Seekers who was on a quest to find the Matrix of Leadership under the direct orders of the Fallen. After centuries passed, Jetfire and the other Seekers were unable to pinpoint the location of the Matrix. With the Fallen abandoning them years prior, the Seekers were forced to go into stasis lock, out of a lack of energon, hiding in plain sight until further notice. Jetfire's path would later cross with Sam Witwicky's, when Sam used a fragment of the Allspark to revive Jetfire, in the hopes that he could decode the language of the Primes. Upon seeing the language, Jetfire remembered he was on a mission to find a Matrix, telling Sam and friends that it was an energy like no other. This in turn prompted Sam to ask if the Matrix could be used to revive Optimus. Jetfire in turn would tell him that it was not designed for that purpose, but it was an energy like no other. With that, Jetfire ordered Sam and friends to find the Matrix, where Sam would later use it to bring Optimus back to life. But soon after his resurrection, the Fallen came and stole the Matrix back, to activate the Star Harvester, which could be used to harvest enough energon to fix Cybertron, but in turn would destroy the sun. Being mortally wounded in battle by Scorponok before Prime's resurrection, Jetfire decided to make the ultimate sacrifice, letting Optimus be able to use his parts to upgrade himself after seeing that Prime was too weak to defeat the Fallen in his current form. And his sacrifice wouldn't be in vain, since soon after the combination took place, thanks to the help of Jolt and Ratchet, Prime was able to destroy the Star Harvester, put Megatron out of commission, and kill the Fallen. When the battle was done, Optimus detached the bulk of Jetfire's parts onto the sand, and in a later shot before the film came to a close, all of the parts were gone, concluding Jetfire's story in the former Transformers cinematic universe. But now this bears a question: what happened to Jetfire's parts? And before I get into that, a quick word from today's sponsor, Skillshare. Now, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of awesome inspiring classes for creative and curious people. It's a site where you can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in your own creativity. They have so many classes, from cooking to coding to writing to web design. If you want to learn something, they most definitely have it. One of the courses on Skillshare that stood out to me was Michael Bragstorm's course called YouTube Using Branding to Grow Your Channel. A lot of the points that he made were ones that were solid, and that I totally agree with, such as going the extra mile to make your YouTube channel the best it can possibly be, even though it takes extra effort. So if you're interested in doing YouTube to the best of your ability, definitely take a look at his class. Skillshare is specifically for learning, meaning there is no ads, and they're always launching some new premium class, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. Now that's a heck of a deal. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link below will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. And I want to say thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now moving back onto the question on what happened to Jetfire's parts, a very common theory is that his parts were repurposed to be used to build Optimus Prime's trailer. TFWiki also says that this could be a possible explanation for the trailer, but I disagree. Jetfire sacrificed himself to stop the Fallen, not to become Prime's personal jetpack. This is evident because Jetfire says to Optimus to use his parts so he could fulfill his destiny, that destiny being to stop the Fallen.
I never did a thing worth doing until now. Optimus, take my parts. Fulfill your destiny.
Nowhere in that verbal contract did Jetfire give consent to be rebuilt into a jetpack. And if you remember in Dark of the Moon, Optimus dismounts his jetpack, causing it to explode. And I'm positive Optimus wouldn't purposely destroy his jetpack, knowing that it was made out of the remains of Jetfire, the bot that sacrificed himself to ensure the Autobots would win. So with that said, Jetfire's parts were not used to make Optimus's trailer. And to learn more about how I think his trailer was actually made, check out my What Happened to Optimus Prime's trailer video to learn more. So now with that said, we can put the nail in the coffin that Jetfire's parts were not used to create Optimus's trailer. So then what happened to them? Well, after the Battle of Egypt, Nest cleanup crews were sent in to clean up the Decepticon remains to cover up the incident. The Autobots would also want to reclaim their fallen soldiers, since Elita 1 and RC were both killed in action. Optimus would dig out the Matrix of Leadership from the Star Harvester rubble, proving by the fact that he has it in Dark of the Moon. All this would take time to get done, proving that the Autobots stayed in Egypt for some time after the battle. Not to mention that most of Jetfire's parts were magnetically welded to Optimus, only some of which Optimus could detach on his own, proving by the fact that Optimus still has the bulk of Jetfire's parts on him. And by the time they leave Egypt, Optimus was back to his normal self, meaning that Jolt and Ratchet most likely helped take off the rest of the parts. Jetfire was the reason why the Autobots won the Battle of Egypt, sacrificing himself to save humanity. I would assume the Autobots would want to honor that. I think they would build some type of memorial, and bury his parts at an undisclosed location in Egypt, honoring the old Autobot for essentially saving the world. And just like that, that was what happened to Jetfire's parts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you haven't already, check out the Fixing Transformers playlist for some more awesome theories. But before I go, I want to say thank you to all my Patreons and channel members for supporting the channel. It means a lot and keeps my channel running, so big fat thank you to you. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give a like rating because it helped the channel a lot. With that said, hit that outro.